How's he doing?
Talk to me.
Really?
Slide this in here.
It's like Jim Dawson. I just saw him a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm afraid the breakfast doesn't do much.
Yeah.
Before Christmas. He's busy.
Which everybody's.
All right. I'm going to slide behind one of you guys real quick. Yeah, we'll slide behind you. Okay. Outstanding. Here we go.
Hey, thank you very much for joining us today. Joining us another chapter in the Rich Hart Show. So hey, welcome.
And now on my notes, Rich, it said this was the premiere.
Yeah,
show.
the premiere show. Isn't that just so grand?
I think so. I think we're going to be struggling up for a new way to get things done for everybody out here. So,
No doubt.
Rich, I know that one of the most important things about the premiere show is what?
Hey, you know, it's what we're going to be able to do and how we're going to bring everything to light. I mean, it's just it was a very cool idea that we had out here is to bring all the past experiences, everything that I've done for many years inside of many business sectors, and the people that I've met along the way, in order to bring their special skills, talents, resources, all right, to light, all right, and just for everybody to just really to feed upon and really have a great time with, you know, and then learn.
And as Michael Moore, Rich Casanova here, introducing the Rich Hart Show for the Pro Business Channel studios here in Atlanta. Rich, we're going to take the next couple of minutes. Just give us a quick snapshot overview of, let's learn a little bit about yourself, what's behind the show. So what's your elevator pitch if people ask, who is Rich Hart?
Hey, you know, Rich Hart, when I say that all the time, I even have a problem with that. Because I
I
get
know,
on
right?
the wrong elevator every once in a while. And just as I
You
said
did this
before,
morning, yeah.
it's a padded elevator. Isn't that just crazy?
Right.
But you know what's unique? Through my life's experiences, through my business experiences, I was able to help as many people along the way by areas of motivation, inspiration, things that I've done in the past just from business, the dynamics of developing business structures. I was a strategist.
Right.
My job was actually to help people and design process and programs for them to be very successful. And so I started taking that a little bit more on down the line and started developing more business in different types of sectors, different line of business. And then getting, of course, eventually into the real estate. Everybody gets into everybody knows real estate, right? Person, right? So everybody getting into the real estate side, and then finding not only real estate side, there's so much you can do, and there's so much how you can help people, and then diving into the financial world, financial services.
So talk about the show. So that's a little bit about yourself, and we're going to pick up on that in just a minute. Talk to us about the why behind the show.
You know, the why was because I've met, Rich, so many people along the way that had such inspiring stories of how they got to where they were. You know, earlier my motto was moving the world one person at a time. But it was always fascinating for me, all right, to know that there was always 10 people better, all right, they were actually just really focusing on their skills. A lot of what I talk about is based on focus. That's the first opportunity to create what we call this unlimited success. And everybody has a very unique skill set. And my job here for the show is to bring that skill set to life.
Yeah, I like your acronym, FOCUS. Tell us that one more time.
Well, focus is the first opportunity to create unlimited success. And we all have that particular energy, that power within us. We just kind of got to get in the accountability side.
Exactly,
the focus side.
And you help people pull that out of them, yeah.
Well, the process of, you know, I know why we did this project, but you know, you've got a lot of categories. You've talked about real estate briefly and improving people, but you know, you've got a whole bunch of topics we're going to be covering over the show, over the life of the show, and the process of this host. You're going to bring some great people in. So talk about those different areas.
Well, you know, it's funny with the areas themselves that are most passionate to me, or the areas that a lot of people are really involved in today. they're involved in some sort of real estate development finance when it comes into the point of whether they're buying their first home or they're getting more into the commercial side of the business, or maybe they're looking for something as to escape somewhere along the lines of retirement. All right, so real estate was a big piece. One of the additional pieces out there was financial services. Not enough individuals really watching what they do to protect their long term. People themselves, like I said, and you may have heard before, they're not afraid of dying no more.
Exactly. Yeah.
People are afraid of
outliving
money.
Yeah.
Which makes it
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Well, that's a teaser for that segment. Yeah.
Without a doubt. And the additional piece out there too as well, the people development and developing unique skill sets that each individual has, and really identifying what an individual really brings to a particular team, a fold, or a network of group of people.
Well, one of the reasons folks are out there listening today, Rich, you've got a whole bunch of different categories, and you're looking for a lot of the people who've made differences in people's lives. I think one of your phrases, I believe I've heard you say, is impacting the one who impacts the many. So you're going to bring a few of those in, and you're going to be one of the one that impacts the many. So look at these different types of folks who you want to, you're going to be reaching out to bring in. So give a little preview of some of the caliber of those people.
Well, the individuals themselves, these are movers and shakers. These are individuals themselves that have done something unique already in their business set, and their skills to bring the story, content, humor to life. I often say that individuals themselves are often motivated by the ability of changing someone's mindset. And then when you start to take a look, others get inspired, all right, to a level of experience that someone else has actually brought in to doing it with them. And so those and the individuals that we're looking to bring on, and we have a whole list of individuals that have already said, when can I get on? And I said, great, not a problem. The show itself was designed just for that.
It's like their golf scorecard is completed, right?
Exactly.
And now they're ready to turn it into you.
You think so?
And you're gonna be working on it. Now again, how do they get on this show? Where do they?
Well, real quick, before we do that call to action, if you will, let's we're going to hit these other points throughout the remaining part of the show. But just give us the headlines without much description. So you left off at people development. You're going to be talking about coaches, mentors, and mentorship programs.
Right. We'll be talking about coaches, mentors, and mentorship type programs. Why individuals need those particular people. Then we talk about music, health, fitness, sports. Some of the binders, all right, that help us to get past of some of the things themselves that we really want to accomplish. And then it climbs into the social worlds. All right, what are you doing as a social giant?
And we'll explain these as we go into. We're going to be hitting about faith, manufacturing, distribution, and supply, right?
Yep.
Education. What's the final category you're going
Well,
to be
IT, technology. When you start talking about what's happening with today's world of how we're reaching individuals through the levels of communication, it's going to be extremely important.
Perfect. All right, and as Michael was asking, so folks want to tune into the show or be a guest on the show, what's their call to action?
Hey, call to action right now is just reach us back here, rich@richhart.com. All right, that's the website. Or you can also reach us at the website so the email address is rich@richhart.com. Not too hard, not too difficult.
There seems to be some continuity here because you can also go to richhartshow.com. Right?
Exactly.
He's got all that real estate covered. Yeah.
All that real
Gosh,
estate
yes.
covered.
Good
All right, guys. So let's open it up to a little bit more in depth on some of those topics we hit on.
Well, the first one is you've talked about the business and the business dynamics. So go develop down into that about what you're looking for.
Sure. When we talk about business and business dynamics, we're not only talking about how we structure a business, but it's the planning. We say that individuals themselves that are best and most successful in what they do from their business strategy. Their structures themselves have a very well formulated plan. But it's not only just about the business plan, it's also about strategically planning. It's also about market planning. It's also about generational planning. How are you going to reach out to those particular generations? We know that baby boomers themselves were the largest living purchasing group out there. But lo and behold, hey, the millennials have just now taken over the stage.
That's right.
And
Sneaking up on us. They're sneaking up.
So as we start to take a look at reaching out into business and the types of business we work, we really have to take a look at the generations. And then you start to take a look at financial planning, which we had just mentioned previously, that individuals are more afraid of outliving their what? Their money, okay, when it comes to retirement sides. And the most famous one out there is exit planning.
That's right.
And so how and what are you going to do, all right, that's going to really create the end result of what you were able to accomplish through life's journey.
Well, those are good about surrounding yourself not only with your experiences and understanding your experiences, but then looking at the team that's going to help you move through it. Now, I know that we all, real estate is always an important part because you got to live somewhere, right?
Sure, exactly.
You got to park your car somewhere. And if you're smart enough, you're going to make that a good investment part. So talk about real estate. I know you've had a lot of successes there, and you're going to make that part of the category.
You know, real estate, when I go to real estate, I became an international broker, trainer, and speaker. in that real estate world, I really wanted to know what was going on in and behind the scenes. And there is a lot that goes on. The individuals themselves involved, and when I got involved from the real estate perspective, it was about 2002, 2003. Times were great.
You're like a baby in this area. You've only been at 15 years.
I'm only 12 years old.
Is that in dog years or?
No, I don't believe you said that. Why would you say that?
That's
crazy. But within that progression going forward, knowing that real estate was now taking its hits later in 2008, of course everybody took their hits, and it's now what's happening with the real estate world today. We're getting better. Things are going a little bit more on the technology sides. And so how we reach out and develop those was a big portion of my life.
Well, now once you've got the real estate, and as you said, once you've managed the property, even if it's your own property, you've kept the roof working and the basement not leaking.
Exactly.
There's then that other part which people really need to look at how they build their wealth and what they do with it. So one of your categories you've identified is the financial and the financial service arena, which I know you've had successes in because I've seen you on the stage.
Sure, exactly. We'll appreciate that. But the whole thing was out there was with the design of WealthWave, and how WealthWave became more of an education vehicle, teaching people really how money works. All right, and so if you look at the richhart.com, you'll see how that direction flows and what happens in finance, what happened to financial services, and the need for this, the need of getting with a good financial advisor, all right, and really working out the plans and details. It's not too late, it's never too late, all right. Years ago, what happened with financial services, it was only for the bigger guys. All right, but now with the age of technology and movements and the way individuals are now catering, all right, to those individuals that may have started late in life, welcome to baby boomers, okay? I'm just going to say from a financial longevity, for planning for your financial future, it's not too late. So we'll be covering a whole bunch of areas and topics and talking about finance and the development of financial and resources themselves going forward.
So really, we're going to hit a lot of other topics, but even on the topics you've already touched on, really the foundation has to be the person, the individual, developing that, because that's really the core, right? Without that, a lot of these other things are just concepts or ideas. So
Sure.
talk to us about the arena of personal development.
Well, personal development is near and dear to my heart. That's basically where I came from. A lot of the great presenters and great speakers and great novelists and book writers themselves years ahead really hinged upon what I was doing. Climbed into a lot of different areas of when we start taking a look at cognitive and behavioral studies, which led me into a whole other world itself, working with people like Predictive Index and DISC and all those other individuals. And it really is how are people hardwired?
Yeah.
How are people really wired to doing the job themselves that they're set out to do, and are they capable? Do they have the altitude and aptitude for it? And which became a very intensive study of working with these types of people. I'm a people person. We all said, hey, you're a people person.
Exactly. Hopefully you are.
I got you.
What's the alternative?
But what is it? What is the skills, the resources, the skill sets you have that really engages you in what you're doing? And are you happy in doing what you're doing today?
Well, you opened in our earlier segment talking about passion, and if you, through your resources, can help those individuals identify their passion,
Right.
they're going to be much successful in their relationships, in their career, right? But a lot of times we just land accidentally into a job that's not really maybe the best fit.
You're right, exactly, and people do that, and that's where a lot of this focus, Mike, came from too as well, because we started taking a look at leadership, we started taking a look at different areas of adversity, and we started taking a look at relationships, and we started taking a look at leadership and the design of this.
Well, as you look at more and more of that relationship building and that process, you bump right into that thing we all call faith and faith management, and how you educate yourself. And I know that's one of the areas which is near and dear to your heart,
Without a
because
doubt.
you wouldn't be where you are today unless you managed that part of
Definitely
your life.
not.
You
Definitely
can't
not.
deal with all the bullets and arrows and everything else down there.
I don't know where you are, but I know where I was, and I know where I am today.
Yeah.
And so within just saying in that regards to that, my spiritual life, my spiritual walk is very strong.
Right.
And within there, those individuals who really have that altitude and aptitude to bring that to the forefront and really truly believe what they receive, is a unique opportunity and a gift for many.
Well, depending on where you place your focus on that and how you have people walking along with you, I know that provides tremendous relationships to develop
Right.
between individuals. And I know you've talked a lot about the connection and the opportunity to build connections between people.
Right.
So that faith is going to continue and continue and continue to build that on. So talk about that education. I mean, without going and getting some knowledge, some real knowledge from the other experts in a planned environment. How does that work?
You know, education has always been near and dear to my heart. Alrighty, and from the education level, we can learn so many different things. College education, great. Alrighty, two of my greatest fans in the studio with us today, Jennifer and Deb. And
Shout out to them.
Without it, hey guys. And well, Jennifer herself is a graduate of Kennesaw State University, a fine university for business development. Came out as a business management degree. All right, who decided to partake in working with Dad, you know, which is like unbelievable. That's Dad's dream. That's a father's dream out there. But, you know, it was very funny. One of the things she said early on, and because, you know, back in kindergarten, there was Donuts with Dad Day. And of course, what they know in kindergarten out there was that, what does your dad do for a living? Well, my dad answers phones and files papers.
Nice.
Well, and so the Rude Awakening came up one day as I was coming out of a show that I just delivered up in Manhattan and taking the train back to Long Island. It was funny because I got a call from my daughter. My daughter turns around and she says, Dad, I am thoroughly impressed. Which is what you do more than answer phones and file papers, which is very unique. But, you know, inside this world, because I'm involved in so many different areas, education as being that main leader into what I do, all right, became a crutch in my world, all right, because it ties into the mentorship, it ties into coaches. I know that I can't do it all by myself.
It's another one of those foundation points, right?
Sure it is.
Starting there, and interesting about faith you were just talking about is, regardless of your beliefs, I think people are inspired by something larger than themselves, right? And there's got to be more to life than just you know, material, right?
Exactly.
So whatever their path or direction, I think people are more. I mean, would you agree with this? More successful, more well-rounded if they have something they can attach themselves besides just themselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, because it becomes a part of your motivation. It becomes part of how you're being inspired.
Right.
All right, to do the things themselves you get up and do every day. Some of the hardest things to do for people is to get out of bed.
Well, and you're talking about your daughter, and I know you have, Michael has quite a few children and grandchildren, so that's I would say disruptive, but it's a turning point in a person's life. When they have someone else that they are answer to, right?
Yes, exactly.
Besides just themselves. So let's move on to a completely different topic, manufacturing and distribution supply. There's no good segue for that one.
There isn't, because these people have to go learn their skills and go back and do real
Thank
work.
God there's manufacturing and distribution. There you go.
Exactly.
How's that?
Hallelujah.
So you got that. So we work that in. But still, I'm very, very tied into the manufacturing, distribution, supply worlds. All right, because this is not only about real estate and finance and people and really looking at business and the dynamics of development. It's looking into additional resources. And so the folks themselves that you're going to see in the show and you're going to hear in the show of individuals that really have come from 0 to 60 in seconds from manufacturing, distribution, and the supply networks all over the country.
Well, those are where we're getting tremendous growth right now. I mean, back to that real estate process. If it doesn't come in a truck, somebody had to sell it. Right?
Exactly.
If it came in a truck, Amazon had to take the order. I don't, you know.
And you're seeing a lot more of those trucks on the road.
Well, that's, you know,
Without a doubt.
business is getting so complex and so complicated that the distribution and the supply side is providing great opportunities for people, but it's not the old traditional stuff.
No, it isn't.
So if you don't use the coring that we're looking at now, where the smaller number of people instruct and bring the other people along with them, there could be some disasters
Without a
out there.
doubt, without a doubt.
So you're going to bring some experts in, and that's a category you're going to fully develop.
Yeah, because I'm very familiar with the manufacturing and supply and distribution world.
And you're going to bring Amazon headquarters to Atlanta?
That's right.
Who am I?
I mean,
Later today, he's working on that.
oh,
project.
hello! Thank you very much for joining.
And as we get these manufacturers, we get these people who are educated, look at supply. It really goes back to that process of learning from the people who stepped this way before us.
Right, exactly.
So the mentoring, the coaching, the training, those kind of experts are going to certainly be a focal point of your show. So talk about some of those folks.
Anybody that has involved themselves in some sort of business skill set, okay, and really has a unique way of bringing it to fold. All right, there even when you talk about real estate, all right, there's even if you dive into the sectors themselves, whether it's commercial, whether it's residential, okay, whether it's international. All right, whether you're leasing or anything else, I mean, there's so many different sectors. So we're bringing all those sectors in for the people who really wanted to know, hey, how did that work?
Right.
How does that work?
When you're just talking about manufacturing and distribute, so if you're going to distribute, manufacture a product and bring it to the marketplace, you need some leadership skills. You need some coaching, right, and some mentorship. You need somebody to kind of, bring you along, right?
Exactly.
I mean, so what are some takeaways there? What are some in terms of coaching and mentorship?
You know, I still believe in mentor and coaching, without a doubt, 100% through and through. Okay, I still looking to sharpen my saw,
Right, yeah,
sharpen
exactly.
skills. Let's take from other people's context, but I'm always looking to work in and develop those relationships. And some of the key people, all right, that have developed some very, very unique process have been mentors to me, even though maybe I haven't had a direct contact with them. You know, but because of what they've done and how they've done it, and the way they saw it unfolding from a future standpoint, all right, really opens the doors. And so we can't sit in a closed box no more.
Right.
Everything's got to really be open. And that's what we're looking to bring to the show, is really openness. Saying people themselves question, hey, I heard that being done, but I'm not quite sure how it goes.
Well, yeah, I think you look to someone that has achieved something that you want to follow in their footsteps or their path, or you respect their work ethic and their leadership. It's almost like, and you want somebody that is achieving more than what you are, so you can kind of aspire towards that. I think back in the days when I used to work out, you would always choose easy now.
Used to work
out. You used to. Yeah, I always that's our past tense. But you'd have that workout buddy or that personal trainer that is better at what you're wanting to accomplish.
You would
right?
hope, yes.
You would hope. Yeah. Well, yeah. And the only problem was that person is now working out with you, and it's the reverse. But
Exactly.
but it's so.
Well, then
our next
that
topic.
changes too. I mean, you know, as you look at ways to expand yourself, and I know you picked one of those great areas, which I understand you're a rock star drummer on the side. But you know, you found a way to look at how that our life is impacted, because not right now, looking at health, looking at music, looking at fitness, that's a key component. People need to do things other than work.
Exactly. It changes the mindset a little bit and really brings freshness, all right, to what you're doing.
Yeah, speaking of not working, what's your take on the topic you're going to be bringing to the table, your social world?
Hey, you know,
Right.
the social network world, I'm a baby boomer. Okay?
Right.
Oh, really?
You're not a Gen X?
No, I'm still 12 years old, but I'm a 12-year-old baby boomer,
Yeah.
all right? But, you know, when you start taking a look at the social world, how we're connecting with people, me as an international speaker, trainer, developer, always on the stage, all right? It's equally important to reach people through the social networking networks, all right? How your Facebook is being used, how your LinkedIn is used, what you're doing with your Twitter, what you're doing with Google Plus, how are you using video. Video is a key issue, all right, especially today when we start working and developing who it is we are. I mean, there are many people that do what we do, okay, but what makes you unique? All right, and we find a lot of uniqueness through the social channels. Whether you like it or not, whether you have a picture on the Facebook or not, okay, it's here to stay.
Right.
And so we're going to bring in those experts themselves that guided me and that helped me through the process. And those individuals themselves that really have the crux,
Right.
all right, the drive behind really getting the message out, because we have some very, very unique ways of getting information into the eyes, ears, and hearts of our listeners.
Now I know you're excited about the process of the technology, and that is the social media part. I mean, gee, you know, how does a baby boomer stay? You know, are you going to bring some of these people to really take us from the building block 101 all the way up to the top of the heap?
Sure, they're 6 and 3 years old. And,
right.
without a doubt, yeah, without a doubt. That's the whole idea, all right? It's not about me. It's about what these individuals have done, all right, to inspire others, and what they have done to really help and guide others and people themselves through their process, all right, through technology. Is technology going to ever disappear? No, heck no. Okay? Not at all.
Not in this lifetime.
But, you know, we're looking for the movers and shakers. We're looking for the individuals themselves that have done something very, very unique, all right, when it comes to technology, when it comes to, all right, I just mentioned video. Video is a big key ticket. But I can tell you, 98% of individuals themselves in professional fields have said, yeah, I'd like to shoot a video someday. Okay?
Someday, yeah.
And never do. Those, I'd like to write a book someday, but never do. Okay? And so we want to bring those people to light.
We'll give some black and white images they can post on the refrigerator, right? Is that it?
Exactly.
Well,
Right.
we're shooting a video right now, and we're live on YouTube right now.
That's even
Yeah,
better. That's the way it should be.
Some of that 3 and 6-year-old watching us out there.
Exactly, yeah.
Sit up straight, Rich.
He looks a little old
I know,
as
yeah,
well.
exactly.
All right.
They're modeling after us. Now, the premise, Rich, what possessed you to move toward an idea like this, to put yourself in front of the crowd with all the right answers?
I'm always trying to reach out to new and exciting people. That's for one. All right. And as many people I have met along the way, all right, which have been numerous, have given me the opportunity to be where I am today. All right. And what's that? That's a unique experience. And so my level is out there is to reach out as many more people as I possibly can, to reach them, to reach another group, whole group of people. All right. We talked about technology. We talked about social worlds. We talked about reaching out and bridging that gap. All right, and as being an information source. I'm a communication expert. That's my job. I communicate, okay?
You talk and walk, right?
I can, and I chew gum, I believe at the same time. But
Careful now.
what's unique about this whole process is that we're going to be engaging people in what we'll call is this really dynamic level, all right, to the folks themselves. I've heard it, seen it, want to be it, wish it, but then just never would act upon it. All right, and as we engage what we do in Focus, as we engage what we do in all the other programs that I do, this is just another step along the way to reaching as many people as I possibly can to moving the world one person at a time.
Well, that's exciting. No, the premise of the show is basically you're going to take the next level of information out to the people.
Right.
And so you're going to be recruiting some of those people you've encountered along the way.
Right.
Now, this, as we said, is a premiere show, so we're here today talking about Rich Hart. We're talking about the way it's going to be done. We've talked about the areas and the processes. Give us some of those little secret behind the scenes ideas you're going to be really bouncing out. I think we've got one coming up on the next.
Yeah, you have a bit of a scoop and an announcement here, right? Yeah.
When we first engaged the idea of bringing this to the studio, bringing it through audio and video,
right.
Okay, we also engaged the next level of that.
Right, yeah.
Believe it or not, the next level was one of our guests that's coming up, Chet Tischer.
Right.
I designed a program called Rooms. And we have actually now taken it to the next step. And
right.
The next step, right? This is
yeah, drum roll. Yeah,
there it is. Big drum roll.
Sound effects. Yeah.
We're actually taking the Pro Business Channel and we're going to be putting it on the road.
Oh,
it's a mobile studio.
It's
featuring the Rich Hart Show, of course.
Exactly.
But basically, really now engaging and bringing this right out to the public.
Yeah.
All right, and that it's such a wild idea, such a wild concept, and I'm sure people have done it. I don't know if they're successful, but I know we will be.
We will be.
Well, and part of that has been, one of the big picture visions to be able to have a mobile studio on the road, on site, on location. But when you first showed me the video of this Rooms, talk to us about their business model a little bit. Give a teaser because Chet's going to be in on the next episode to kind of delve into this. But when I saw the video, I was just fascinated with the principle, the idea behind it, right?
Yeah, the whole idea was to take hospice,
right.
All right, and to really take healthcare, all right, that we're having a problem with positioning aging,
right,
all right, and really insert them into a very comfortable position inside your home,
right.
But we found out that after, all right, because like I said, all the manufacturing, all the manufacturing is done here in Georgia.
Well, yeah.
All right, and all the raw materials and everything else, and the panels themselves are all done here in Georgia. And what's unique about the process out here is that it has over 101, 110. We've identified somewhere.
Now 111 with the mobile studio.
With the mobile studio. And what a very unique opportunity we have already of constructing and really cutting cost.
Yeah.
Helping people through transitioning times when it comes to health and healthcare.
Well, and I'm looking forward to that conversation with Chet, but as I understand it, it's a modular that they assemble in here, as you mentioned, in Georgia, bring it on site to someone's home, and really, in whatever their need is, for one of those examples of the 101 uses, would be a hospice or an elderly member of the family that needs a dedicated, their own space, right,
exactly.
within the house. So you take out a bonus room or a dining room or a garage space.
That's right.
It's all self-contained.
Yes.
And I remember as a kid, y'all may have this experience too, where we had our grandmother stay with us, and in 2 different occasions, and they had to add on to the home and build a retrofit and add on a whole nother
addition, right?
Addition to the home, right?
A lot of interruption there, a lot of confusion, a lot of a misunderstanding.
But the beauty of that multi-generational experience in the home is something we don't really see these days too much, right?
No.
So to have grandparents there, and as a kid being able to understand their dynamics and what their needs were and what was different, right? Was
Sure.
It's sort of like raising kids, right?
Right,
So,
exactly.
the empathy levels have changed.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and when it comes down to is more of helping and caring for those in the home. All right,
And in your own home, rather than having them displaced to another location.
Exactly.
But yet they have their own separate environment. So that's a fascinating. Rooms is the brand. It's RUUMS.
Right.
And we're looking at that joint venture to allow Chet and his team to bring their product to the marketplace on site, but then piggyback with PBC, Pro Business Channel, with the Rich Hart Show. I mean, it's just a
huge
trifecta.
opportunity. Yeah, huge opportunity. Yeah.
And then, of course, that roots us right into the Rich Hart Foundation, which is
There you
also
go.
going to be moving part of this process and educating people.
Which is part of the process, because as we started to go into this route and be able to move people and move the world, we found that there were other giant-sized entities, all right, that could work within relation to what we're doing, not the Rooms project, but other projects, all right, other investment real estate and development projects that we were doing and working with, to really engage more of working with individuals, all right, distressed situations, distressed families, and things of this nature. And now coming out of that, molded out the Rich Hart Foundation.
Wow.
Which was just another great opportunity.
What an opportunity, an example of connections, Rich. I mean, people are going to be very gifted and very blessed by listening to the parts of this show because they're going to visit with and learn from the experts.
Right, exactly.
And you're going to do a great job leading them. Now, all this is just not accidental. There's some stuff behind the scenes, right? You want to share us your secret sauce or your toothpicks that holds all this together?
Imagine that.
I think their names are
Jennifer and Deb, the two crux behind Rich Hart Global World, and the Value Core
It's
Institute.
a university.
It is.
It's a
pretty much so.
Rich Hart University.
Wow.
We were beamed in this morning.
That's already big enough. Yeah, let's slow it down here. Yeah, he's getting a rock star in the making right here. I have to interrupt just for a second. I wrote down a phrase. I don't know if you intentionally or unintentionally made, but move the world.
Yeah.
Did you hear you just said that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's inspiring. I mean, that's maybe the mantra for Rooms. We're moving the world.
Exactly.
Right? The play on words, right? Let's move the world. Let's make something happen, right? Exciting.
There are a lot of great things and great concepts and development pieces that people are putting together.
Yeah.
All right, to help each other. I'm hearing more and more with the devastations and the floods and some of the fires and things that have across the country. People helping people has been the hugest outpour.
Yeah.
Already getting past the bureaucracy of the craziness.
Yeah.
All right, and that's basically what it was. And here it is, just another section of that, of people helping people, but really going out there and moving the world, helping the world in a different perspective.
I think that almost encapsulates a lot of what we've been talking about, and what I'm hearing from your faith, from the leadership, and so forth. And I don't want to put a tagline to the show, but I think that we may have just stumbled across one. I envision it now. The Rich Hart Show, moving the world.
Moving the world.
Well, from your real estate background, right? Because in real estate, you're always moving people, right? And you move people just from your personality,
well, thank you.
right? And inspiring people. I mean, I'm a gentleman.
You're
Yes,
inspiring. Yes.
Rich Hart Show, moving the world.
That's right.
There you
Right,
go.
yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Moving forward. So
Love it.
moving
Love
forward.
it.
So
Well, circling back.
all that stuff.
We'll
Yeah.
move forward, but also
Somebody's got to keep us focused
How do
here.
you get on? How do you get this thing moving?
Yeah.
So,
Close us-
one more time.
close us
Close
out,
us
yeah.
out.
Yeah, here's the great thing on it. You can go to richhartshow.com.
Wow.
Okay? And imagine
Who came up with that name? Yeah.
It's RICHHART. We
Yeah.
dropped the E because there was way too much enthusiasm in my life, so we had to slow it down. But it's richhartshow.com. Or if you want to get us hold by email, all right, it's rich@richhart.com. Or you can just go to the richhart.com website, okay, and click on the Pro Business or actually the Rich Hart Show, and it will bring you right up there. We're looking for some exciting folks. Tell me what you're doing out there. Tell me what's going on. We want to know how we can help you move the world.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're going to be
That's
making
trending already,
some
yeah.
new examples for people to move the world, and we may have to give them a new roadmap. I tell you, you're going to be out there printing that thing for them, I'm sure, and talking to them, because we're excited to see the opportunity, the guest lineup you have. So again, go to richhartshow.com, look at the schedule, look at the guests, click on the link, listen to the stuff, man, it's going to be amazing. So tune back in for the inaugural show. Rich, it has been a pleasure to be with you today. Tell us about the excitement you have.
Oh, I'm not very excited at all. All right? But without a doubt, Mike, Rich, thank you very much. I'm excited about our venture, excited about what we're doing and how things themselves are going to be progressing going forward. I have a list of individuals themselves that are just dying, all right, to get on the program, get on the shows themselves, and I'm just like going, okay.
Well, we're excited to host them here, so we look forward to the next
Superb.
episode of the Rich Hart Show.
Great.
All right, that wraps up the premiere edition of the Rich Hart Show, Moving the World. Stay tuned for the next episode. Okay, we're clear.
How about that, Rockstar?
How do we do?
That was awesome.
You guys good?
Yeah.
Good? Good start?
Did you think Rich Hart Global?
Yeah.
The world?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Moving the
Taking
world?
out, moving the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Global.
It
Yeah.
works.
That's the whole premise of
Yeah.
the logo. So the logo itself, the little guy moving the world. So.
Well, congratulations. Let's give him a hand.